Hi everyone, my name is Nicola and welcome to the fifth and final day of A Week in China, where we're talking to my aunt Anneli van Schoor, who is currently living in China and have lived there for more than 10 years. Hi Anneli, how are you doing?
Hello Nicola, well, as always, you too?
That's good. I'm very well, thank you. So yesterday you gave us some very interesting insights on the stats in China, and I've been thinking a bit about that. And I suppose all the times that I have traveled there, I was quite surprised at how disciplined the Chinese society is. They listen to everything, they abide by the rules, and they were already in the discipline of wearing those surgical masks, certainly in all the public transport. Maybe it's just because there's so many people and people want to just keep themselves healthy and not ill. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on that, the discipline and then the wearing of masks, which has been a discipline for years.
Yes, I have seen that since, well, I went to Taiwan first. I lived in Taiwan first for 4 years. So first 4 years there, now nearly, 11 years here. I would say not only Chinese, I would say Japanese, Korean people, Eastern people probably, have this habit of wearing a mask when they have a cold. Because the idea is, I have a cold and I don't want to give it to anyone. So I think it was quite easy to keep doing that when they were asked about to do it for this crisis, during this crisis.
Okay, interesting. And the discipline in terms of obeying the rules, is that just the government or how does it work?
No, I do think it's because of Confucius. I think most people in the West know about Confucius. It's a Confucian tradition that you trust your government. And if the government asks you to do something, that they wouldn't just ask you to do something because a whim. It would be very important things that they would ask you. And you must also remember that the Chinese government, it's called a meritocracy. The people that work in the government are appointed to their posts because they really, really qualify for it. It's one of the most difficult things is to get a government job. You have to write a grueling examination. They only take the best candidates. So the people that work in government are really competent people. Wow. So I think it's a question of having a good government and believing that the government would look after you. And the Chinese also have a tradition of giving up your personal freedom for the greater good if it's necessary. So I think this is why they listened. And you must remember by now, probably 95% of the Chinese population are quite well educated. It's a far cry from the 1940s, 50s, 60s, where a lot of them were even illiterate. So they educated people. They can think.
Yeah, because we
people in their government.
Yeah. So I suppose I'm probably guilty of that as well. You still imagine China, these rice paddies, people working on the farms. But even when I visited China, it was actually so built up. I mean, there's so many people that live in what you call those communities, which just looks like a block of flats to me. And I understood many of those people were moved from the farming areas to the urban areas and offered and given an apartment essentially.
Well, they are very well educated now. The 9-year compulsory education, and now even they're going to put it up to 12 years, as far as I know. I heard that. Most of the people that you meet your age now in China, and even up to 40, 50, are quite well educated. Very well. I think if you compare with most other countries, developed countries, it would be extremely, it would be similar. So they're thinking people, they went through the school, they have a really competent government. And if the government says this is a crisis, then, they wouldn't just ask them to do things that's not necessary. And because of the Confucian tradition, it's follow the government because it's great good. So I think that's really.
Yeah, wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, certainly I felt it when I wrote my CFA exams. I'm luckily a CFA charter holder now, but there's just more and more people that are writing the exam from the East, and particularly from China, and it felt like they made that pass rate just go up. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Thanks so much for that, Anneli. And then I wanted to just ask you, so there's a lot of controversial news about China and whether this COVID-19 virus was actually created in a lab in China. Do you have any views on that?
Yes, I do. I have watched the news about this and many programs on television about this, where the host from here would ask people from all over the world, virologists from many different countries, about this and talk about this. So first, I have to say that this lab is the highest level virology lab. It's called a P4 lab. They don't have many of them. This is, of course, the highest one in China too, and it was created a project between China and the French government, actually. So from that stage, from the time that it was created, I don't have the exact date, I don't remember. Anyway, from the time that it was created, virologists, epidemiologists from all over the world worked there. And it's open for them to work too, anytime. So since this whole controversy was created, that the virus was manufactured there, many of the people that have worked there before have contacted China and said, or contacted the international press and said that it's quite impossible that people could just do what they like there. First, that's the one thing. And the other thing is that people that, I'm of course not a scientist, so I don't understand that much about this, but scientists have said that it's virtually impossible to create this virus, because you have to sort of like unravel they call it the RNA, and then insert something in this strand, this RNA strand, to make it not natural. And it's virtually impossible. That's what they said. That's what virologists already said, and scientists.
Okay.
So this is the information that I have. And many people have also said that it's been proven that it's from a natural source.
Yeah.
The virus.
Okay, interesting. Sure. So, Anneli, what does it look like and how does it work now in China? I've heard something about a green card system. So you get allocated red, amber, or green if you're able to travel. And how does it work now at the school?
It's very interesting. Everywhere in China now, big data and AI is used to monitor the movement of people. Alibaba, as well as Tencent, has created, with the local governments, they have created this whole system. They call it a traffic light system. You can either have a red code or a yellow code or a green code. Red code, obviously, you are dangerous. The yellow code means suspected. It's possibly you've been in connection with some people that are infected.
So red code is you have the virus.
Green code means that you are safe, that you haven't really traveled out of the area where you were in, that you've never been infected, you were not in hospital, So you should be safe. And you have to get your own cities or areas green code now if you want to go anywhere. I have experienced this a few times because I have been to Hangzhou, our capital, actually just last week with a friend, and it's very difficult when you arrive in another city because they would immediately, especially with foreigners, because now many cases are imported from other countries. That's the problem now in China. It's mostly imported cases from Europe or America or Russia or wherever. You're immediately taken to a specific area, and you have to give them your address and how long you've been in China and where you've been and everything. And then they check your movements on a computer. And then only they permission to leave the train station or something. I've just experienced it last week. It's really difficult to travel now.
Wow. But so what color are you?
Of course I'm green. I've always been green because I've done my 14 days isolation when I came back from Sichuan, and nothing happened. And I have been in Tongxiang the whole time, except going to Shanghai once, twice, and to Hangzhou. And I have both of the green codes for Shanghai and for Hangzhou ready, because when you go there, they check you again. Oh. So I'm green.
Okay.
But it's still difficult. Yeah. Because they keep, especially now, there are so many imported cases. Yeah. And if they see a foreign face, that I've lived here for 11 years and that I haven't been outside, they just think, oh no, let me check. I think it's good.
Wow, this was so interesting. Thanks so much for your time, Anneli. So I know you've also done a video for the local government there. So I hope when I post these videos that I'll also post that video. So I'm sure people will be interested in seeing and hearing from you on the ground. It's been so fascinating. Thanks so much for your time. And I hope you have an awesome evening. And I'm proudly wearing another scarf that I bought in China.
Yes, wonderful. I will have a good night because it's nearly bedtime for me. I think
it's late your side. Wow, 11 p.m. I think.
Oh.
Wow, awesome. Thanks so much, Anneli. Take care. Bye.
Really big pleasure. Bye-bye.